guys just have that ability. Some guys just, I don't know what it was. They had to go out every single night. They had to drink, come in a hangover. Skip, when I first got in the league, guys would go to their car and smoke to a break for a lunch break. But thankfully, that waned. But some guys just had that ability, Skip, to be able to do that. I was not one of those guys. I needed to be in my playbook. I needed to be in my room. I needed to get my rest. But some guys, Skip, I don't know how. I mean, there have been times, Skip, look, bro, you got to get in the shower because you cannot go into this meeting room smelling like that because Mike going to lose his mind and then he going to be looking at me crazy talking about how did I let this happen? And you a grown man. So, Skip, some guys just have that ability to be able to party, to drink, to do whatever, and still go out to perform at a high level. Now, to the degree that Michael Jordan, he might be the only guy that could ever do it to that level. To play cards from little old Shannon, I wasn't one of those guys.
So, quick points of order. Obviously, Lawrence Taylor had some drug issues. And to my knowledge, Michael, even in '98, the year I was around, had no drug issues and no alcohol issues at that point. So again, you want to think like, had he become the Joe Namath snake stabler of the National Basketball Association? No, it wasn't. It wasn't like that.
No,
it was. He had such a raging fire inside him to compete. He was addicted to competing that he couldn't turn it off. After practice, he had to go straight to the golf course or he had to go straight to the card game. And he didn't want to just play until 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. He wanted to play until 5 a.m. And if you got him down, he'd want to play longer, as Magic said. And then he'd sleep for a couple hours. And Magic was he was actually describing what was going on in Barcelona before the Olympics. So then he'd go play golf and he'd take a quick nap and he'd go score 30 against Ghana, somebody before halftime. But the point was, the point was that raging competitive fire ran so hot that I believe it did start to devour him. And I do believe that gambling issues, gambling associations did have a lot to do with why he was forced to take a sabbatical for 2 heart of his prime years at age 30 and 31 and go play baseball, AA, for the Birmingham team that was owned by the Bulls owner, who's obviously also the White Sox owner, Jerry Reinsdorf. But I believe he was encouraged to step away because he'd gotten too deep into gambling. But the point was that fire in him, remember, Magic also told the story in the documentary, they're playing cards the night before game 1 of the second finals of the first three-peat against Portland. And it's so late at night, and Magic said, hey, I got to go. I got to let you get some sleep here. And that's when Jordan told him, hey, I just want you to know I got him tomorrow night. And he was talking about Clyde Drexler. Well, poor Clyde Drexler hadn't trash-talked Michael Jordan at all. But once again, he was always fictionalizing these bogus rivalries because he thought some people were saying Clyde Drexler was better than him. And you know what he did in the first half of game 1? He made 6 threes and gives it this up and down the court looking at Magic like, I told you last night. I told you last night. So, again, he was in supreme shape even though he smoked cigars. So don't underestimate. He wasn't letting himself go. He was still working as hard as ever, and there was no drug or alcohol issue, certainly that I was aware of.
Skip, one of the greatest athletes that I've ever been around was a guy named Simon Fletcher. He played with me in Denver my first 3 years. Simon would smoke probably 3 cigarettes, drink a 5th of Jack, and couldn't nobody beat him in wind sprints. He was an outside linebacker. He was the most, I'm talking about Skip, to what he could do after. I'm like, Fletch, how you do that? He's like, I don't know, I just do it. Skip, what Michael Jordan, Skip, when you say he had a competitive issue, see, B.J. Armstrong was describing it last night, Skip. He said, we played the game. Michael won the game. He said, he let us go out there and we do all this thing, and then when it came time to win, Michael says, okay, now it's my turn. Skip, Michael wanted your soul. The reason why, see, Skip, if he won all the money, the game was over. See, if he lost, he wanted to keep playing. Skip, he wanted your soul. He wanted, I got all your money, and on the court, he wanted to take your soul. Yes, we won the game, but I dropped 50. That was his mindset, Skip. He wanted to break you mentally. Well, Skip, if you take all the people, everybody money at the card table, the guys are looking around like, damn, man, the dude, I mean, he worth 150 million, he worth 200 million, and he just took 100 grand off me. Well, he's in the basketball game, Skip. He's like, dude, why are you playing so hard? Okay, you won. You got 30. You winning. Nope, I want 40. I want 50. That was his mindset. He's trying to not only break you mentally, he's trying to break you emotionally and physically, Skip. That was he wanted to leave you in rape. He wanted to wreck shop. He wanted to be like Sherman going through Atlanta during the Civil War.
He did. Yep. And remember what Dennis Rodman said in last week's Last Dance episode about him? He said, I was great during games. My problem was, what do I do with myself after games? I believe in a very different way. That was Michael's problem. I can't turn off my competitive fire. I got to do this, and I got to do that, and I got to compete, and I got to gamble to make the stakes high enough to entertain myself and keep me alive off the court.
Yep.
There was just so much from all these episodes. And guys, we also saw an incredibly touching interview with the late Kobe Bryant. He spoke about his special relationship and bond with Michael Jordan. We will discuss it next.